Hey, it's Chandy here. Just a quick note before we get into this episode. This conversation was recorded across 2 different days. When we first started recording, we ended up going on a tangent and didn't complete the film review. So we've picked up a couple of days later. Because of that, the usual ramp check and audio descriptions aren't included in this main recording. For accessibility, I wanted to include some descriptions here. I'm Chandy, one of the hosts. I'm a white male in my early 30s. I'm wearing a navy hoodie with a floral print on. Emma is a white woman in her early 30s with long brown hair. She's wearing glasses and a green jumper. Thank you for your patience. Let's get into this episode.
So Jeremy the Dud.
Yeah, so Jeremy
is what
the
we're
Dud.
talking about. It's an Australian short film. And it's set in a fictional world where disabled people are the majority and non-disabled people are the duds and treated as pitiful, incapable, inferior. And the film's goal was to make non-disabled audiences feel what systemic ableism looks like. So being pitied, infantilized, denied jobs, tokenized. So it's a satire. But it's interesting. It's like in this fictional world, disabled people are the majority. I'm pretty sure we're the majority in the real world. It's just that we're not treated like that. Like when people call disabled people a minority, I'm like, we're not though. Like, I don't even know if that minority, because I'm thinking minority as like a smaller amount. That's not relevant. So Jeremy the Dud is it's a satire. So it's I think
it's got some quite big actors in it, actually. If you look at the casting, I'm just looking at the casting now. It's got Chloe Hayden, who is from is an actor.
I don't know her.
She was in a Netflix series called
I'm Mariah Carey. I don't know her. That's like a famous, never mind. It's not relevant, Emma.
Series she was in.
Chloe Hayden was in Heartbreak High. I don't know what that is.
That's the one. But
that is not something that's in
in that she plays someone who is autistic, and she is autistic herself. So the cast of Jeremy the Dud is very everyone who is playing a disabled person is disabled. Obviously because they're trying to portray the idea that they are the majority.
So Jeremy the Dud centers the non-disabled protagonist's emotional arc and positions disabled people as the majority, so being a mirror about ableism, but through a non-disabled lens. It's about ableism, but through a non-disabled lens. That makes sense. So what were your reactions?
I like it in a way. I use it sometimes in talks and when I'm doing sessions for university students to show to make them think about it differently, because if anything, that for me, watching it, I think I at first I felt I could see what they were saying with some of the things, like when there's a parking space and someone who is disabled parks in a quote unquote dud spot for people that are duds, and the cousin pulls up the lady, pulls her up on it, and she has to apologize and stuff. And you see that a lot in people parking in disabled bays when they're not disabled and stuff. So there's things like that they highlight really good issues.
Yeah, and I mean,
a moment.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say there's a moment where Chloe's character talks to Jeremy and says, "Do you like the name Dud? And what do you want to be called and stuff?" And I think that highlights a really important topic within our community. There's a lot of disabled people who don't like the word disabled because they just don't like it. They have think it has negative connotations, and they prefer things like differently abled or able-bodied and able-bodied people and stuff. And that was language I used growing up. But I think it's about preference, and it's about understanding other people's perspectives. And I think this film does stuff to highlight that. I think sometimes it does over dramatize things, but obviously it's trying to do that because they're trying to make it as obvious as possible for people.
Yeah, I think there were moments that I liked, and the one that you mentioned, I also like that one as well. But I think, and I think what it gets right is it's like it's targeting ableism directly, like
Mm.
like the absurdity of workplace discrimination.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, and it's an accessible like metaphor, I guess. So it's for, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of non-disabled viewers, not only have they never faced ableism, but they might not see, like, they really, like, it's really quite, I think a lot of people, it comes from exposure. Like, you know I I think if my like, I'm trying to think of, like, my non-disabled, like, my siblings, I I don't think without me they would have had really any exposure to disability, like, at all. Like, I'm like, my dad has a cousin and a sister who are disabled, so he grew up around that. My mom is a nurse, so she inevitably,
Mm.
like, had experience with disability. Both of my parents lived in New York City in the 80s, which was during AIDS. You know, not during during the AIDS epidemic. And so, both of them described seeing disability out in the streets because AIDS was very disabling, is very disabling. It's and it is a disability. So, but I'm thinking like, so it comes from exposure, and if you don't have that, where do you learn about ableism? Where do you
Mm.
learn about these things? You don't. The same with, in my own experiences, where would I learn about racism? I could watch on a movie, I guess, like, I could learn about it in a textbook, but where I really learned about it was being exposed to it. And in my younger years, I lived in a town that was, I swear to God, it was all white. It was, like, Fairfield, Connecticut was, in my elementary school there, I think there were like 2 Black kids. I swear to God, I think it was all white besides that. And then I moved to Wisconsin, and I, I immediately, like, I knew about racism in Fairfield. I knew when I lived in this white town, but I didn't really understand it. And then I moved to Wisconsin. I saw it because I went to a multicultural, multiracial, very diverse school. It's a diverse town.
Mm.
Um, and that's where I learned about it. So I think that's helpful in a sense. Like, we need films, if you don't have it around you, it's not going to be as effective because you really need to see it in the real world, but it is putting a visual to it.
And
So,
I think even if you're exposed to things like disability or like different ethnicities and religions and stuff when you're growing up, it still doesn't mean that you have an absolute understanding of it. Like, obviously our understanding of disability is shaped by our own experiences, but funny enough, I was talking to someone last night about the word accessibility, because I'd done a post about how many sales I've made of my book and how I used AI to make the images because it was helping me to have creative freedom.
Yeah.
And they were challenging me on it, and they were like, yeah, but you're taking away from creatives who invest in their time and their energy into what they create and stuff. And I was like, no, I'm creating my own art through a tool that's helping me to remain independent. And it's the same as like speech technology or like captions and stuff. And he was like, I don't think you understand what the word accessibility means, basically. And I was like, you can have a different opinion, that's fine, but also acknowledge that if I'm saying it's a tool to help me remain independent, and I think like those ideas around accessibility and around the terminology we use within our community, everyone's different. Everyone's going to have a different understanding of it. I don't know if this person is disabled or non-disabled, but their understanding of the word accessibility and stuff is shaped by what they know, what they've seen, what they've been exposed to as a person. And they were like, maybe you should read up more about this and stuff. And I was like, whoa, ho, ho. Like, I didn't want to be like all cocky and stuff, and I didn't respond in a rude way, but I was just like, you need to acknowledge that not everyone's going to have the same journey, the same experiences, the same abilities or like skill sets. And if it's my ideas, like it's my character design and stuff, and I've just used a tool, or like someone, for example, who is disabled uses something differently to help them remain independent, how's that any different from someone who's non-disabled doing it the way they do it?
Well, think about it like this. So, well, first of all, it comes back to the question, what is art? You know what I mean?
Mm.
What is art? And, people, like you do a paint by numbers project on a canvas, and it's somebody else's, maybe it's Starry Night by Van Gogh. Van Gogh. I don't know. My mom used to like
Van Gogh.
it's not Van Gogh. It's something my mom used to yell about this because she was like, it's Van Gogh or something. I don't even care. I don't care.
Have you seen Keeping Up Appearances in the UK? Obviously not when you're in the, but
No.
basically the actress who was in it, what was her name? Keeping Up Appearances. Her name was Patricia Rowledge, but the biggest aspect of the show was her name was Mrs. Bucket, but she would go, it's bouquet, darling.
Bouquet. I say who says bouquet?
No, her name was Mrs. Bucket. That was her surname, was Bucket, like a bucket of water.
It's
but
bouquet.
She was too. I'll send you some clips. She dressed all prim and proper, and she was like, "It's pronounced bouquet," because she didn't want to look common.
Oh, it's sort of like when people say not Target, Target.
Yeah.
I call it Target. I gotta go to Target. Yeah. Or like, no, I get that. Yeah. But back, I think, what were we? So going back to Jeremy the Dud, I think it, overall, I think it's sort of like an elementary sort of lesson about ableism, because it is sort of, there's moments I think are important in it, but overall, like, ableism isn't obvious.
Mm.
I have never, I can't off the top of my head even think of a time where I faced ableism and it's been like blatant. I can completely understand why people are like don't register.
Mm.
It's been when I speak out about it. I mean, so I get concerned that in this film that non-disabled viewers are going to walk away thinking that's that. I worry that people are not going to recognize that this is very over dramatized and it's an amplified version of what happens. It's very under the radar, ableism. It really, I mean, it's so under the radar that even me as a disabled person had to learn about ableism. I'm sure you did too. I'm sure it wasn't, oh, you maybe felt something was off, but you were like, what?
I'll be honest with you, I only discovered what the word ableism was about 2 years ago.
Oh, it was not a word that entered my vocabulary till I was in my mid-20s. I'm 32.
Like, I just called it discrimination or like a misunderstanding and stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't a word that was in the world for us growing up at all. We did not have ableism has been a term. I think it was coined it came about in the 80s, but it wasn't something that was used. Ableism, if I said that back in 2008, people would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? People would have been like, that's not a word and that's not a thing. I would have gotten pushback. And I call this discrimination. But I also, so yeah, it's, and when did this come out? Jeremy the Dud.
It wasn't too long ago, I think.
It
2017.
Yeah. That's getting to be long ago. Like, that's scary. It doesn't feel like, but it is long. It's like almost 10 years ago, dude.
Shit.
Like, that's scary. I don't like that. That feels like yesterday. But anyways, so I think I worry that like people are gonna have a misunderstanding and not know where to not. It doesn't. I think we need to train non-disabled people because you have to. It's because you and I are disabled. That part of our brain to look for ableism and to identify it is naturally activated because it's our lived experience. Non-disabled people have to manually activate that from learning and educating and being exposed and being involved in the disability community. That's where that comes from. It doesn't come naturally. So I think, I don't know if this is that, it might put certain things on their radar, but I don't think it helps. I don't think it's necessarily, it's just, it's not a harmful film. There's nothing bad about it. I don't think it does. But I think it's important to just recognize it doesn't deserve the amount of praise that I think a lot of people would give it. It's pretty elementary. You know, it's, yeah. And it's very clear to me that it was written and directed by a non-disabled team, you know?
I think, hang on, I'm going to have to challenge you on that.
Right? I think
No.
it was. It's a little embarrassing if it was written by just. Oh, I was thinking of a different. Was that who wrote it? Hold on, director.
I think one of the directors is disabled.
So Ryan Chamley is one of producers is. I don't know any of these people. I don't know any of these people.
Oh no, you're right. The director was not disabled.
Yeah. So it's already limited because of that. So, I think,
I think I get what you're saying, but I also think that in order to understand something, you don't jump in at the deep end and know the topic off heart. It's like learning to code, like a computer or like a
yeah,
website or something. You don't go straight in at the deep end. You learn little steps to like code for a button or code for the color coordination of the website. But
yeah,
so like with this, the film is aimed to, I think, it'd be open to children or adults to look at and say, oh, there is sometimes overt stuff, but I think what's missing is that other stuff you don't necessarily see, or the hidden discrimination and ableism. So, but I don't think you can get that across in a short film of 30 minutes, I think it is.
no. And so I understand, like I said, it's not harmful. It's not doing anything wrong, but is it motivating meaningful change? I don't know. I don't think anybody's walking away from. I think, you know, like, and yeah, I mean, like it's just sort of elementary, but it's like I said, it's not doing anything. I think it's as comedy, it lands. It's the tone, the acting, the pacing, keep the satire like tight and punchy. So it's effective in showing the ridiculous and cruel ableist assumptions that people make, and how they sound when flipped. But as like disability justice comedy, it misses the mark because it should like amplify disabled agency and not just use like disability as like a teaching prop. And I think disabled people should be part of shaping the story. Like they should be writers, directors, because they really have that knowledge. I yeah. So, like, is it an effective piece of comedy? It's a short, like, like it's sort of like don't think too hard about it. Like I'm not thinking too hard about it. It's like, is it? It's yeah. It's pointed enough to make non-disabled people maybe squirm a little bit, but it's sort of, is it effective work for like disability justice? Like no, it sort of it's like it helps open the door, but it doesn't walk through it.
Yeah, I
So
think it's
it's fine.
yeah. I enjoyed it. I think there is some good parts to it, but like any film, I think there's going to be stuff that's bad with it, and
Yeah. What did you think was anything specifically that you were like, eh?
I think it was just almost like they tried to throw everything at it, like every single scenario that would happen, into what is somewhat of like there's an example without giving too much away, like a shopkeeper talking to the disabled the cousin rather than the non-disabled person, or and then there's like 5 minutes later there's another thing that happened and then another. And I would say that if we went to the shops we might encounter one or two challenges but not seven like was portrayed in the film, all in the
Yeah.
space of 2 or 3 hours. And I
I
think
think, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, Karen.
I think what would have been smarter, which as you were saying that popped into my head, um, you know, it's the repeated
Mm,
like experiences. It's like, because like if somebody like, comes up to me and is like, I don't know, talking in high, like it does something able, like, and if it's like a one-off thing, like it bothers me, but like, but I'll give you an example. Like So we live in a world where everybody's got their phones out and it's taking pictures of everything, right? I never get asked to like take pictures. Like, so I was like a month ago, I was at a flea market with my friend Rachel, who's also disabled. And
Sorry, I'm just going to do an eye drop.
I
Fucking
would
eye
not
drop.
be able to do that. That would take me half an hour. I'd be like, but do they hurt, by the way?
No.
No.
I'm not in any pain. It's just annoying.
Yeah. Okay. Back to that. So I was at a flea market with my friend Rachel, and we were making our way to the ferry. To go. And some guy, and this was a sunny day in Dumbo, which is a very like touristy part of Brooklyn, and it was like a Saturday, beautiful day out. It was like a flea market, so big crowds, lots of people around. And some guy stops me, says, "Hey, would you take a picture of me and my girlfriend?" He could have asked anybody, but he asked me, and I recognize, and I was like, because I actually love taking pictures, and I'm good at taking pictures. Yes, I was like, yes, absolutely. Like, I didn't say it like that. I was like chill about it, but I took pictures. And why that was so meaningful to me is because nobody asks me to do that. It's the absence of that. They'll ask everybody around me, but they'll never ask me, even if I'm the most available and like ready to take a picture for you. They'll ask the non-disabled looking person, the same way like nobody asks me for directions, even though which is honestly a good thing because I don't know where the fuck I am half the time.
Yeah,
So like that's like there's an ableist side of it, but it's also like, don't do it. I don't know. But like it's that absent, or like how uh I notice like around when we go to like family reunions, like or like if we're around like our family, like me and my siblings will get asked, "Oh, are you dating anybody?" But I don't get asked that question. Like it's the absence of things and it's the repeated of that. And I think that would be like more powerful is these little moments and the message that like sends to a disabled person. Like imagine your whole I mean, between the ages like when you start dating like teenagers, so like I don't know, let's just say like 14, like between 14 and like the rest of your life. Imagine like nobody asking, "Oh, are you dating anybody?" Or like, are you seeing, like, have you been on any date? Like, that's a very normal thing that people inquire about, friends, family, like, are you married? Like, that's a very normal thing to inquire about. Like that, oh, like, are you, like, what? Like, do you have kids? Like, blah, blah, blah. In your teenage, and then in your adult life. But like, I never get asked that. And unless it's by like other disabled people or like, even my siblings don't really ask, like, have you been on any dates lately? Like, they don't. And it's and that absence, like what message that sends the message that I'm undateable, that I don't date, that I shouldn't date, that I'm asexual, that I'm, I couldn't possibly be going on dates. Or like it's that, yeah, I think that's where that's where the ableism like gets me, is it's not necessarily the things people do, it's what they don't do. I think a lot. Or yeah, like asking directions. Like I live in New York, like there's so many tourists around. I don't get asked for I mean, and again, they shouldn't, because I'm not gonna be able to help you. Like, and also look, I kind of look like an idiot half the time. There's non-disabled things about me where I'm like, I get it. But like, I also know, or yeah, I think that would have been much more powerful. It's like that, just that absence of and seeing it happen around you, like, I think the dating one is a good one. Like watching everybody around me get asked all like, who are you seeing? Are you seeing it? Like, I don't know. Or even just anything, like nothing, or even what do you do for work? Or where did you go to college? Where do you get your education? Like, what do you want to do for, like, I think that's much more powerful. That's what I experienced. That's the stuff that gets me about ableism more than the, like, can I pray for you? Like, that's annoying. And I'm like, you, but like, that doesn't, like, that doesn't really, like, that's more like you're a crazy religious bitch. I don't care. Like, like, I don't, like, I don't know. In the United States, like, being a crazy Christian is like not that off the wall. It's not just disabled people who are getting the, like, feeling the negative effects from the evangelicals, okay? But yeah, I think that's much more powerful that I wish non-disabled people understood. Is like, it's this quiet, subtle absence of normalcies that everybody else gets, and you don't, and you notice it, and it's very obvious.
And I think that is almost so hard to convey sometimes, because some people will think, oh, but that's just a part of life. Everyone's different. Just accept it, like, and stop being so woke. I think that's the biggest thing, is that when you do try and have these conversations and try and challenge people, it's met with kind of, yeah, but just accept it. Just take it on the chin almost, but you don't have to put up with this shit. You don't have to put up with that repetitive. And I think that's something I've realized in recent years, while I've been dealing with quote unquote daddy issues because of what my dad did. I feel weird. I was writing my script for my talk on Tuesday, and I was like, shit, I've got daddy issues because of the way my dad used to treat me. And I've never thought about it like that until
I've
that
got
moment.
daddy issues too. Trust me. And I get along with my dad. I still got,
but I was just like, I don't know where I'm going with this. What was I talking about?
I was talking about, like, I went from, you were saying it's kind of hard to portray the subtle.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
I don't expect someone to understand what it meant to be, like, have those negative comments constantly told to me by my dad or by other people, and then see that those small actions have a monumental and long lasting impact that's, like, not just going to last for the 5 seconds it said to someone. Because, like, that 5 seconds of comment does have a, like, if you add 10 of those comments on top of each other, that's like, you've, like, got so much more content, so much more issues that have arisen because it's the repetitive nature. It's like, if you want to train a dog to do something, you do it over and over and over, and that repetitive kind of thing, you can't see it, it's not visual, because those memories live on in someone's mind.
Yeah,
that's a really weird way of trying to describe it, but,
well,
like,
I think I do think I'll challenge you in the fact that, like, I've seen the magic of film is so, like, I wouldn't underestimate filmmakers in that sense. I think a good filmmaker knows how to portray something like that, because look at what's been done in film. Like, all these, like, good films, like the ones that, like, really got to me, it is those subtleties. I don't know, like, that, like, it's pretty magical what, and really mind-blowing what can be done with film and that medium, that artistic, that art form. I feel like somebody who is a good filmmaker will know how to do that. Because I just think of the movies that have moved me, and it's amazing, look at, I don't know, just especially like emotionally, the little like, I think, because I just watched it the other night, but I was watching The Prince of Egypt, which is like a cartoon, but it's a really good film that is, yeah, it's a biblical story. I'm not like a Christian, like, but it's a relevant story because it's really like a family drama is what it is. And like the way that they portrayed in a cartoon the relationship between two brothers, and the breakdown of that relationship, the meaning, like with animation, is incredible. I wouldn't underestimate a filmmaker. I think a lot can be done. I've seen some pretty amazing things get accomplished in film, but what we haven't seen, but I can understand why you have that perspective, because when it comes to disability, we haven't seen that magic at all. We have not one example. We've seen it with like everything else. I've seen, like, as a female watching a promising young woman, like watching Roots, the original, like with Reading Rainbow guy, whatever his name is, I forget. But actually it's a big cast. Roots from the 70s. It's a miniseries. But it was a book. It was Alex Haley's 1976 is novel, but 1977 miniseries. It's very famous, but it's O.J. Simpson is in it. I bring that, but it's got the LeVar Burton. He was the host of Reading Rainbow, which I don't know if you had that in the UK. It was a very popular children's program, and it was LeVar Burton was this guy who hosted it. He read books. It was like he read children's books on camera, like, but it was great. But anyways, Roots is a phenomenal miniseries that is just accomplishes. There's very few movies on. I mean, there's a lot of movies about race in Hollywood that have been made. There's ones that are shocking, and like, make me squirm, but like ones that like made me like uncomfortable and like that I still think about. Roots is one of them. It's like the subtleties, like where I almost sometimes I'm like confused. I'm like, what's going on here? And it's really, I would if you haven't seen it, like highly recommend. It is one of the best. It's a lot. It's really long. It's really long. It's a lot. It is a lot.
I get bored at long stuff.
Then watch clips. Go on fucking TikTok.
Yeah,
and watch
I'll do
clips.
that.
But that's I get the attention span thing. I get it. But yeah, it's Roots is. They tried to redo it, and I was like, you can't redo it. But anyways, I think we haven't seen that be done with disability, where it's like, we're still waiting for that. We're still waiting for our, but it's, so it's hard, but I know it can be done. You just got to get the right team, the right people. And it's got to be, but it's, and again, it's that lack of disability representation, because it takes a lot of people to make a film, whether it's a short film, a feature film, TV series. Look at how long credits are. Look at how many people work on a production. And so it can't just be all on the actors. the director. It's a whole team of people that need to be behind it, and disability needs to be part of like the team, like all of it, from lighting to like everything, to, you know, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I think overall, like, you know, it's aesthetically safe. Jeremy the Dud. It's not dumb, but it's basic. It's like it's the cinematic equivalent of like a awareness day, you know.
Let's put it this way: if you're a Marvel fan, it's not a top tier film or even a god tier film. It's kind of like your B tier, your C tier.
From Marvel.
Yeah.
What's this? What's a C
Like,
film?
like if you're ranking films, like there's god tier, A tier, B tier,
Yeah.
C
Yeah.
tier, D,
Yeah. Yeah.
F.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, you know, I think it doesn't really risk surrealism or discomfort or absurdity in the way that in like the way that like Jojo Rabbit or Get Out, those are like recent films that did really well. If you understand Nope, then yes, that would be it. But that's, I guess it's more horror, but this is comedy.
Not
But
watched it.
Jojo Rabbit has comedy. So yeah, I would say Jojo Rabbit's a good example like that. It's like, ooh, oh shit. But yeah, I think that's where uh, it's yeah, like Jeremy Lin just doesn't have that bite because it's made from, and I think that's because it's made from the outside looking in. So it reads like a social studies teacher trying to be like inclusive and not like somebody who's actually lived through systemic ableism. And again, you can only understand so much. You cannot really walk in somebody else's shoes. You just can't. But there's a way you can, like I said, the way that certain movies have made me, or in certain books, and I'm thinking specifically about, I think because it's, I guess it, but like race, because I'm like full blown white, full blown, at least you can say you're from Africa. I'm full blown fucking white. But yeah, it's there's a way I will never know what it's like to be Black, to be a person of color, ever, because I'm not, and I never will be. But I can be made to sit with racism for sure. I have been in that position, and like there's certain films that like again, Roots is one I think about a lot. I think about it a lot. Just certain things where I'm like, fuck, do I do that? Like, am I missing it? Like, could I be like, who's a character? She's a horrible, horrible character, and you don't want to align with that, but you can't help but be like, would I do that? You know, I don't know. So, and not through, and again, I'm talking about drama. Like, comedy is a very elite teaching tool that is hard to get right. You know, I think there's a way to do it, but I don't think we've mastered disability in comedy yet. There are people who are, there's certain stand-up comedians I think are like paving the way, and I'm excited about that. But translating it into full is hard, into a short film or feature length is hard. And also, I don't think addressing ableism should be, I think you got to kind of approach it like a Jojo Rabbit, where some things are not funny. It's not fun. Like we can use comedy as a teaching to, like, I think Dave Chappelle, like, fucking elite at like the way his comedy style and like pointing out the absurdity and like the stupid and just the like, he's great. But like, you know, some things are just like, they don't use comedy as a sometimes it's you, like, some people need to sit in their discomfort, and it don't use comedy to like sort of spoon feed, you know, the issue. Like, don't use it to, because sometimes like you need to be uncomfortable. So like there's a time and a place for comedy. So I don't know if ableism should be addressed like completely as a comedy or completely as a drama. I don't know. I think it's
And
kind
on
of
that
all.
note,
Yeah.
shall we wrap it up?
Do you have anything else to say?
No, I think just in terms of, for anyone listening, I think what we're trying to say is that this isn't a bad depiction of kind of the other side of things and the ableism that we experience. It's just missing some of the subtleties and some of the kind of hidden stuff. But as we've said, that's hard to get across sometimes. So my advice would be keep engaging with people, whether that be online or when you meet people, have conversations, understand what they experience, and don't just go up to a random person and say, "Tell me about your experiences of ableism," because you're not going to have an open discussion. You're just going to make people feel uncomfortable, and not everyone wants to talk about the things they experience. I know even I, as someone who's quite open and does public speaking around the issue, I have days when I don't want to talk about it and I feel like shit, and I'm like, no, just leave me the fuck alone. I need today just to be myself and just to breathe, because I'm living through it. Because I might have experienced ableism myself or something's happened, but just engage and just speak to people and learn from them, because that's the only way we're going to make effective change.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I think it's a journey where I wish I had all the answers for like, I think another message I was like is like to audiences is like, yeah, we're figuring it out too. Like, I wish I had the solution for how to like how to like be effective with disability in comedy. I don't. Like, I wish I did. We're figuring out. It's a learning experience. Um, like, I think overall, like, an interesting thing about marginalized groups is like what all marginalized groups have had to experience is like we have not been allowed to, our culture forms regard, like, it sometimes it comes from oppression, sometimes it comes, but like, because of the oppression, there's a lot of things that come later because we haven't been allowed to figure that stuff out. So how we show up in art, how we show up in like in film, it's not, there's stuff that we're figuring out too, because we haven't been welcome in that space. So, like I think, I don't know. I if anybody's like, well, what's the solution then? I don't know yet. I don't know yet. like,
But
keep your pants on.
but you can keep listening to these episodes and learning more from us and from other people. So tune in next time.
Yay.
And that is a wrap on this episode of Dude, Where's My Ramp? Thanks so much for spending this time with us. If anything we've discussed today is particularly difficult emotions, memories, or mental health struggles, please know you're not alone. We've included a list of support resources in the show notes from both organisations in the UK and US who are there to listen, help, and guide you. You can find us on social media. Our handles will be in the show notes of this episode, along with all the other information I've mentioned. We'd love to hear from you as well, so please do reach out if you've got anything you want to tell us about. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a review as well. Also, don't forget to tell a friend about this episode, and tune in each week for new content, because I do promise to be better at posting content, because I get distracted and then I get ill when stuff happens. But we're living, we're learning, we're embracing it. So here we go. And remember that each episode will probably be more rants about ramps and the mental health of disability life. Until next time, take care of yourself, your ramps, and each other. And remember, we're all in this together. Emma!
Together, everyone. We're all in this together. I know the dance moves. I'm not going to do it on camera. That'd be too much, but I do know that dance.